Hi everyone, welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zurcher. I am working on this vessel. Boy, am I paying for some real, I don't think we can sugarcoat this. It was really a mistake. I trued this thing up and I cut the sides, and I'm paying the price. So there's always a part with a project like this where this is my experience, where you kind of hit a wall where you're working away and you get really excited, and then you realize something's really wrong structurally. So anyway, you'll see. I'm shooting some video of the chicken wire. I actually made all kinds of errors with that. I've never worked with chicken wire. I didn't realize that in one direction it actually shapes better than another. The other direction it doesn't hold the shape. So hours were spent with that. I guess, I don't know. I think it's important to talk about, the different, I've never done this. So I'm just, I'm learning as I go. And I think the best lessons are the ones where you make a mistake and then you figure out different ways to do it, because I can tell you I am never going to be truing up sides again ever. That's a mistake I have really learned a lesson from. And as far as the chicken wire, I actually did cut out some false shape, which someone had suggested. Evidently you can heat it, it will mold. You can sew through it. Maybe I would, I don't know. I'm glad that I'm going with the chicken wire because I put the whole thing on. I could see that it was not the shape that I wanted. I, kind of went back to the drawing board and moved on. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. It's a little bit, it's easy to feel discouraged. What I'm telling myself is it's okay. I'm going to work through this. I'm going to figure it out. And keep going. I think the idea is a good one. I really like all the composition and the way this is looking. It's just the shape that's really problematic right now. So I'm going to turn this around, and you can see what I'm talking about and what I'm working on, and we'll go from there. This is the small experiment that I made. It's too small for the piece that I'm working on, but you get the idea. So it's an irregular shaped top, it's an irregular shaped bottom, and right, it kind of does this, and there's a sort of undulation that's happening where parts are coming out and parts are going in. And so this isn't by any means what the other one's going to look like. It's hard to recreate, but I like the way this sort of looks. So now I'm doing it on a larger piece. I've had to actually attach two widths to get the height that I need for my piece, which is almost 27 inches high. So I'm working on that, and I'll show you when I have that sort of pulled together. I just wanted to show you what this is looking like. I put it on a cake stand so I could twirl it around. This is on chicken wire. Now, what I had to do was I had to make the chicken wire, I had to seam it vertically. But when I did that, there is evidently, with chicken wire, there's one way you're really able to manipulate it, and the other way you really can't. And of course, this is the way that you really can't. So I am going to have to redo this. But this is the basic idea. It is not in even remotely the shape that I want. So I'm just showing you, but this is what I'm thinking, and here's the seam, which I think is pretty well hidden with all this other stuff. My friend Pat Polly, who has the most fabulous dyed, and these are her dyed linens, by the way. You can go to her site. She used to carry a lot of hand-dyed linens, but I think when I stopped doing YouTube channels, she may have stopped because most of her people are interested in quilting with cotton, so they buy that instead. But I'll be talking to her in the next few months. Anyway, this is the seam, and Pat used to always say, group stuff together. So I thought of that when I was doing these X's, and I brought another X to put here, and the same with these sort of circle shapes to sort of group them together. And then the rest of it is, there it is. And of course, this needs to be tacked down once I have figured out the chicken wire situation. I'm going to have to unpin, this is all pinned. I'm going to have to unpin the whole thing, redo the chicken wire so that it is the strength of it I can shape. And then I'll come back and report to you. Okay, so I pinned a burlap thing. That's actually going to be the lining behind it, just because there's so much going on. It's hard to sort of see it. But I'm going to twirl it around, and you can see the shape. So that's kind of the idea. I think it's a good first attempt. I think it's tall and thin, taller and thinner than I had sort of envisioned. I might play with it a bit more and have this part kind of bulge out a bit more so that it's a little bit more like, this and then this and then this. I think I'd like that better, but that's going to require adding quite a bit into this, which is where the seam is. That's okay. I can figure that out. But I have quite a bit more work ahead of me. So I thought, this is going to be it. I don't think so. Trial and error. This is with the chicken wire. The Foss shape, I think is interesting. I read more about it, and I think I'd like to try something smaller with it first and see how that goes. Well, I'm not back to square one, but oh boy, am I paying for that truing up mistake. In any case, moving on. I've added this piece. I've got my little flap here to add. This is also going to be added. I've added this, which I had cut off before. That's going to go over there. And then on this side, I've added this big piece, which, again, I had cut off. I'm going to put in some of this. This is actually going to be sort of more like this, so that this then overlaps onto here. I think I'm not going to tack this down until I've got this. I have to put it down back onto the vessel, make sure that that shape is what I want. And up here, I've added this bit to the whole thing. I know my desk is a mess. It's really hard to see what I'm talking about. You're just going to have to trust me. Not that I deserve anyone's trust at this point. I don't even trust me. What's going on here? So, yeah. I have to get back to my stitching now. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start stitching. I'm only going to stitch. So as I said, I'm not going to stitch this down because I'm not sure about this. I am going to stitch in here. I'm going to add these little seed stitches in the same thread, and I'm going to kind of go over here a little bit. I know that I want that vessel to bulge out here, so I'm going to have this sort of go like that. So where this is then going to be positioned is going to depend on when I put it back on the shape. But up here, I can certainly adhere this, at least in part, and I can adhere some of this. So I'm going to do all of that. I don't know how interesting it is to watch me do these stitches that you've already seen me do. I think the bigger issue is problem solving at this point and sort of figuring out how to work with what I've got. And again, if you're making something like this, don't square the edges, just do the top and bottom. That's all you need. Okay, more to be revealed. I want to find this thread, which I did put all my threads in my little basket here that I was using. It's not that. Not a woman scorned, I know that. Must be in the other basket. Nope. Oh, that's not of any use. Jammed in there. Did I not put it in? Oh, I did. Okay. Where's my scissors? Oh, I gotta tell you, the stand that Martha, thank you, Martha, told me about is a game changer. It is so much easier. It kind of makes a big difference. Well, I can actually use up the thread this color since it's on here. And I think I have this on here. Well, it's this. That's okay. I'll use that. And then what else do I have? I thought I had the camera on. I don't think I did. So, but I'm just stitching away here. Doing my little seed stitch. My idea is that I'm going to come in with this thread and stitch this part and maybe into here. But right now I'm going to keep going with this one. One of the things I really like to do when I'm feeling kind of stressed about a project or disappointed or discouraged or impatient or, you know, pick a feeling. What I like to do is do something really mindless. And the seed stitch is about as mindless as it gets for me. Well, any stitch that I can just do over and over, you know, is that you get into this kind of just, I don't know, this sort of flow of, it brings my heart rate down, I think, which I already have very low, I have a very low heart rate, but in any case, it brings it down even lower, and I can just sort of calm down a little and remind myself of why I'm doing this. And the reason I'm doing this is not because I have a timeline. The reason I do this is because I love it's the joy of creating something. And discovering all the different things that come with creating something. And if I already know how to do something, that's that's fine. That's fine. But I love the challenge of trying to do something I've never done before. And this is a huge challenge. There's all kinds of issues that I'm having to think about and deal with that I haven't when I just do a flat piece. I mean, if I wanted, I could have just, said, okay, this is it. I'm going to just, that's it. It's done. And not tried to create a three-dimensional sculptural form. And not only was I trying to create a three-dimensional form, but I'm trying to create something that's kind of sculptural as well, that's, the sort of undulating idea, which is a whole nother set of challenges that face me. But whenever I start feeling like, oh, I have to do this or I have to do that, I love to turn that around and say, I get to do that. I get to do this or that or the other. Even when it's something pretty unpleasant, like I had to call our bookkeeper because a bunch of stuff, some jewelry sales and stuff like that. And in any case, I needed to call her. And this is stuff that I really don't, I don't enjoy any of that, So I just kept saying, I get to do this, because it means that I have a choice in the matter. Nobody's got a gun to my head to do this. I'm choosing to do this because I love it. I love creating stuff. I love having a challenge. I love trying to figure stuff out. And so inevitably with stuff like that, there are moments where you feel a little bit challenged, or maybe you feel a little discouraged, or maybe you feel, whatever, but that is not the right thread. It's the Pearl 8, Steph Francis. I love Steph Francis's things, and they're such a lovely couple, and it's in England, and they took over from the mother, I think, and I can't remember of whether it was the wife or the husband, but one of them took over from their mother and just kind of ran with it, and they're just lovely, and they create the most beautiful things. I love the throaster that they have. I love the bark that they have. I love the pearl cottons that they have. I love their colorways. They're just beautiful. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? This is the Steph Francis Pearl 5. The 5 weight. And then they have a 3 weight and they have an 8 weight. In all those different colors. And it's just, luscious. So much fun. And they just are, like I said, just this really sweet couple. Really lovely people. So I was feeling kind of discouraged, and now I'm feeling less discouraged and more just like, I'm going to figure it out. Haven't figured it out yet, though, but I will. That's the other thing that I remind myself. You're going to figure this out, and it's going to be beautiful. And you're not going to just, throw something together just so that it's done. You're going to keep doing it and working on this until it's what you want. So if it's not the right shape, then I'm going to keep adding until it is the right shape. And if the chicken wire doesn't seem to be doing it, then I'm going to figure out some other material to use that will work for this project. But whatever happens, I'm going to keep pushing forward until I get what I want, what I've sort of envisioned in my mind. This kind of undulating round shape. I can get the undulating part with the chicken wire. I know that because I was able to do it with a smaller, like test, little test thing that I did with chicken wire, and I was able to get it to undulate and sort of move the way I wanted it to. And so I know I can do that. But now it's this shape, and because it's so much bigger than I had anticipated, it's going to have to be a lot rounder. And, so these are sort of some of the problems that I encounter because I don't sketch, because I haven't figured it all out, because I haven't sort of realized it beforehand. But on the other hand, it's more, in some ways, it's so much more fun. But it's also can be quite frustrating, which is what I experienced this morning. A lot of frustration. That's okay. I've been frustrated before. This won't be the first or the last time. By the way, I went to Pat Polly's website, and she does have 2 pieces of hand-dyed linen, of her linen left. They're kind of a mustard color. Her things are so beautiful, but if you wanted to go over there and buy them, they're there. I just saw them. And if a lot of you comment and say that there's interest in purchasing her linens, I can give her a call and tell her. But if there's not any interest, then it's a lot of work for her to do. So I know she likes to make a batch, and then I often will do a YouTube video or give it a plug, and then it sells out pretty quickly. But since I've been off the grid for so long, I think she sort of stopped. What's fun about this is that you have this textile, and then you add your layer of stitching on it, and you create a different kind of textile. And I kind of love that. Now here, do you see where there's like this? This is the, I tried to abut them close, but I wasn't able to do a great job. So either I'm going to put something on top here, or I'm just going to come along like this and kind of do something else. that's the other thing. When you get discouraged, you're not thinking clearly. I'm doing this and I'm thinking, well, why did I do it this way? Why didn't I overlap this so that it went in? And I don't have an answer. Should I take it off and redo it? I think I might. Because this doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Okay. Let's see, where is that? Okay, so, yep, that's what I'm going to do. Every day, my husband and I go for a long walk. And today, as we were walking, I had a thought, which is something that's been kind of lurking in my mind ever since I started this, but that I didn't want to, I just didn't want to acknowledge it because it was, I don't know, a lot of work, it felt like. Okay, so here's the thinking. The next time I make another vessel, if I make it the way I'm envisioning this one, I'm going to make it, and I'm just going to grab a Post-it because that's what I've got sitting around. I'm going to make it, so I'm going to measure how big I want my bottom. So let's say I want my bottom 20 inches. That's a big vessel, right? Then when I start composing it, I'm going to start composing it like this, right? But not just this way. I'm also going to be composing it this way. So in other words, it's going to open up. See where those sort of dart-looking things are? It's going to open up here and here, as well as come out here. And then as I get to the top, I'll do the opposite, right? So that the whole thing is spherical. And this way, I don't know if this makes sense, but in my mind, I know exactly what I'm doing. So that when it attaches, it's going to attach in the round, but this part will also be bubbling out, right? The way a basket weaves, right? The basket weaves out, but it's a circular shape. So because you're weaving around the circle, and you're expanding. Or if you think of knitting, right? You're increasing, but you're not just increasing on the sides. You're increasing your stitches inside as well. And that's what I didn't do on this. Okay, so that was my first thought. And then I felt very, very sort of congratulatory of myself for finally just admitting that this is what really needed to go. And I think Laura actually, and maybe a couple others of you, mentioned something to the effect of, I'm just wondering, and I was like, no. So now I'm wondering, is there a place in here that I could cut and open? And I don't know the answer because I've been so good about having things cross over, and so I may just have to leave this one alone. But boy, it would be cool if I could, for instance, here, I could totally cut in here along this edge and maybe even up here. It doesn't have to be a straight line, but it needs to be a gap that I can then fill in with some other things. So that might be a place. Maybe here where I've added this fabric, instead of just adhering it, maybe I cut in here and do that as well. Maybe I just need a few places, really. Maybe I can, I mean, this would have been a good place along here. I don't know. You know, I'm going to think about it. Radical. It's a radical idea. This would have been the perfect place right here. And maybe I do. Maybe I just take all that stitching out, you know? And yeah, if I had here and here, that would probably be enough. All right, that's what I'm thinking. That's what happens when I go for a walk. Oh boy. Okay, so I'm just going to continue on meanwhile with this. And let's see, can I? Yeah, I could add this in now. I know what I did in my excitement, getting that, I ended a thread, and where did I put it? My needle. I don't know. Oh, I put it right here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So I'm feeling so much better now. I'm feeling much more like, oh, I have a solution. So, all right, so I'm going to go in here. I think I'm going to keep going with this little seed stitch idea. And okay, so before I thought about cutting into this thing and expanding it the way I just showed you, I had this moment where I thought, you know, maybe I should just accept defeat and start afresh, because I know now what I need to do, and I didn't do that with this, and I should just let this be a flat thing. And then there was this other little voice that said, no, don't do that. You can figure it out. You can still do something with this piece. So, yeah, I'm going to go with that. So I was so thinking that I was going to have this all finished by, in the next couple days. But now with this new idea, I'm not sure that's true. And it may be that I'm not going to finish this before we leave on our trip. So for those of you following, just know that when I get back, I'll get back to it if I haven't finished. But we're leaving in the next less than 2 weeks. So we'll see. Okay, I'm doing it. I am going to cut into here. Let's hope I don't regret this. So I want to go at least up to here. Okay, so the thinking is that I'm going to expand and add in here, right? So I'll do that. I'm going to, I think, cut along here. And I don't know if I'm going to do this. I should, but it feels, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to do, I've got this side, I've got the middle, and then if I had one more area, or maybe I don't need it. Maybe just this area here. Just cut right along here. I know, it's radical, but here we go. Let me go in here. And I'm going to cut all the way up. Okay, so this is the way this looks. And then up here, it's going to come back, down. Okay. I know. Don't panic. It's going to be okay. I got this. That's it. That's what I'm doing. Next time I start stitching, you'll see me adding in those places.